My life closed twice before its close. My life closed twice before its close. It yet remains to see if immortality unveiled a third event to me, so huge, so hopeless to conceive, as these that twice befell. Parting is all we know of heaven and all we need of hell. So, a big part of this poem is death and dying. It talks about close and parting, which both refer to death. When they say immortality, heaven, and hell, they're referring to the afterlife. And when it says hopeless to conceive, it's talking about how death can be difficult to comprehend and the unknowing of what comes after. The closing of life events were the first two events she mentioned. She doesn't go on to detail about what those were. Could have been a relationship or how she got rejected from her publishing. Death is her third event. And when the last line said, parting is all we know of heaven and all we need of hell, she's referring to the unknowing of what comes next. That's it.
Any questions for Connor there with any use of, talked about the idea of closing of life events. What does she mean in the fourth line when she's discussing the immortality unveiling a third event? What could that, I mean, obviously immortality is death, right? Mm-hmm. So what would the third event? The third event would then be death as well?
That's how I interpret it. This is the third event would be death.
But she says, if immortality unveil a third event to be so huge, so hopeless to conceive, what's she discussing there? Where's the confusion? Why would that third event be so huge, so hopeless to conceive?
Because death's a pretty big life event. I mean.
So then what is immortality?
Immortality is referring to what comes after. And
so if immortality unveiled death, see the confusion there? If what comes after death reveals death.
It made sense to me when I read it.
Now that you're thinking about it again.
I mean, it still kind of makes sense in a poetic, metaphorical, doesn't really make sense, but you get the general gist of it kind of way.
Agree to disagree on that one. So if you're going to use this one, you want to go back and look at that. Just for the simple fact that you're saying if immortality, which is death, unveil death, mm-hmm. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it?
Well, I mean, it could be death is showing her, I don't know. It made sense to me.
It made sense to you then, but now that we're talking mm-hmm. about it, you can see where the confusion might come in, right? Mm-hmm. So we would definitely want to look at that part again to see, okay, well, since there is that confusion, let's see what else may come from it, other than just that little part there. Mm-hmm. No? Go ahead and click your thing there, and you can just leave it on the list.